Hey amigos, what's happening? Good to see you guys again. Thanks for coming by. I figured I might just go ahead and give you an idea of what I'm doing lately. I haven't really recorded anything all week long because I just, been busy like anyone else is. But I figured I'll go ahead and record this and try to have it today up so you guys can see it. So anyway, but this is what I've been up to. I've got the shovel head all torn apart again. There's some parts right there, but I also had more than that done. I had the inner primary off because, well, I had an oil leak on my crankshaft seal, so I changed that out. And what else did I do? Oh, by the way, I've heard that when you have a belt drive, you're supposed to install your crankshaft seal in backwards. I heard that from several reliable sources, from people who have been riding shovel heads a heck of a lot longer than me. I still don't understand the logic of it, but can someone please explain the logic, the scientific reason for doing that? Because it makes no sense to me. And I also wanted to finally address the issue with my starter system. And check this out. I put in a new jack shaft, and it is a lot sturdier right here. It got to be whenever I would hit my starter button that it would just grind and grind and grind, or it would engage and then grind and engage until it did a number on my ring gear here. So this is toast. So I got a new ring gear coming. Had Kenny ordered me one. And what else? Oh yeah, there's my clutch hub right there. I got a 5-finger clutch hub. And I've always had this problem. When I go to put my clutch disc on, it always fights me going on. It's like, now it was a lot worse than that. What I did, I took a drill bit that was about 10 thousandths bigger than the actual holes, and I drilled my holes out, and that went on a lot easier than it had been. But once this whole entire stack up is complete, that is, in this clutch hub right here, the clutches can't move. So every time I would disengage my clutch, it's like the clutches would still be somewhat stuck together to themselves. I'm not saying stuck to the backside of the clutch basket, but anyway, they would be stuck to themselves, and every time I apply the clutch, it's taken off in first, it would act like I'm dumping the clutch. So, it would just jerk forward. I have tried adjustments, all the different kind of adjustments that I'm supposed to do, did it just like the book, but it always does that. So that tells me that my clutch fingers are the culprit. One of these two is off alignment. I've been taking my channel locks, and I've been applying them to this, trying to work them into position where I want them. But to no avail. What I did buy is I bought new fingers, and I attempted to get the bad ones out until I had enough, and I said, piss on it. It's worth the money to just go to Lowbrow Customs and just buy a new one. Now I'm just waiting on parts. So the Ironhead, it's sitting over here in its place, leaking oil all over the freaking concrete. When I reinstalled my transmission after having it rebuilt, I used a different silicone because the case of my engine on my primary area, it's got some wear and tear over the years where people have scraped gaskets, and it's not an even surface. So what I did was I used this RTV. It's made by JB Weld, and it's not as good as the Harley Davidson brand. I'm not trying to be a purist, but I've actually used this stuff. This is the stuff that you use when you split cases and then put them back together. This is good stuff. So this is what I used the first time on the Ironhead to seal it off, and it never leaked anything from the primary. But I have used this, and I used it on my Softail when I put the inner primary back on. The places where the bolts go through the casing and then go into the transmission case. Anyway, you're supposed to put a little bit of this on the primary or the inner primary whenever you put it back together, right around those bolt holes. But it leaked anyway after using this, and then using it on the Ironhead, yeah, it's leaking, as you can see. So I'm going to be pulling that off. Kenny gave me a brand new primary gasket, and it's hanging up over here for an Ironhead Sportster, and I'm going to be fixing that pretty soon. And the Electra Glide, the last video you saw, I broke down on that in Tampa, well, on the way to Tampa. I broke down, and I got brand new cycle electric voltage regulator. So that's another thing I got to do in this garage, and I got to do some investigating as far as what's going on with the Tramp. The last time I rode it, periodically it would stall out, which is kind of strange. I kind of wonder if the ignition is doing something weird, but it would fire back up. But anyway, that's that. Oh, and some of you who have been around for a long time, well, I say long time, let's see, 4 years, 5 years since I've been on YouTube, have wondered where the Tramp has been. why you haven't been seeing me on it, and I've been kind of quiet about it. There's really nothing wrong with the motorcycle, but when you happen to be at the doctor's appointment, you know, your regular checkup, and it's been revealed to you that you are urinating blood, it kind of gives you a different perspective on what motorcycle to ride on a regular basis. And it was kind of a mystery to the doctor, because I had no signs of, you know, kidney cancer or bladder cancer or anything like that. I've actually been to 2 doctor's appointments where they told me I was urinating blood. So I stayed off the motorcycle thinking that might have been it, because at the time I was riding that bike pretty heavily, you know, to Clarksdale, to the Crossroads, to Texas, stuff like that. And well, I kind of started to figure, well, after I found that it cleared up after I quit riding this thing for a year, it kind of gave me an incentive to take a little bit better care of myself. I mean, yeah, it's a cool bike. I put my heart and soul into building this thing. I mean, I could still ride it every once in a while, but I'm just not, you know, as into it as I was. Which is actually why on the Ironhead, when I built it, I put a spring seat on it. You know what I mean? Oh, and by the way, I got a new look going on, right? I can see you guys a lot better. So in case anybody in the comments is already saying, what's up with those peepers you got on, man? Yeah, I got tired of losing my reading glasses, and it got to where my distance was kind of starting to look a little, you know. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Part of growing up. The Softail's running pretty good. It's the one bike in this garage that doesn't have anything wrong with it. At least for the time being. And I really don't know when I'm going to get to this project right here, you know. This is the motorcycle in the garage that you can't see. Remember I told you guys I got enough parts here to, well, anyway, you guys know that. That's that video, or that video right there. So anyhow, fun. So, oh, and I want to welcome to my Patreon Dustin Bloomdahl and also Drew R. I don't know what Drew's last name is, but thank you so much for being part of the Patreon. I'm going to figure out how to run that boat eventually. I don't have any tiers on it, but I'm going to figure it out, guys. So anyway, until then, I really don't know what else to tell you other than you guys keep the rubber side down and you be good to yourselves. Thanks a lot.